What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of carx Drift Racing 2 with BrogAutohaus. We are jumping right into the Bronze XDS Tandem competition, and we're going to start off with my qualifying run, which put me in the #1 qualifying spot at 102.9 on this particular track. So I've had a lot of people ask about XDS Tandems, want some kind of tips and tricks for doing this particular race, because in XDS Tandems you're not judged on your drift points that you score. You're judged on angle, speed, consistency, and corrections. And the biggest thing with this is not necessarily to, obviously you want to fill all the zones as fully as you can, but as long as you're touching a tire to those zones and maintaining a very consistent angle and throttle, you will do very well. So for starters that haven't done the XDS, what I suggest is that you find your most consistent car, the one that you flick to angle and hold it and use that vehicle. Now you're watching my top 16 chase down battle here. This is one of 5 laps, and so I'm going to show you kind of how I adjust and what I change. This was my first time chasing him, so I wasn't sure what areas he was going to slow down, where he'd be speeding up, and where I would need to catch up, and stuff like that. Now, in XDS, you can't touch the lead car. I mean, you can touch him if contact is really light, but as you can see there, if you hit him with a front bumper too hard on transition, that's a collision, and the run is immediately stopped. Now, you do get 5 attempts, which is nice, so on the second attempt, I knew that he was kind of slow in that area where I had ran into him, so I need to kind of hold back a little bit. At this point, I'm just trying to get some points on the board, get a consistent score, and then towards the later runs, I can really dive in on him and see what I can do to get the most points possible. So like I said, this is judged on the angle and consistency. So when you can see when I make corrections, you see right under the number in the top middle that it shows red correction, because that's bringing my score down. You want that top score that's in the yellow bar up there to be pretty much at 100 the whole time. And when you're transitioning or you're making corrections, it's really low. So as you can see, mine's bouncing up and down a lot. I was making a ton of corrections trying to chase this guy, and it was causing me some issues. I wasn't able to score very high. But the main thing is that you want, that smoothness. If you're constantly twitching your wheel, that's gonna hurt you. Same thing when you're leading, or for qualifying, I should say, like my first qualifying run we watched. That's something where once I flick it to angle, I'm almost making no adjustments and just staying heavy on throttle. And that's kind of the way to go. And then you transition, lock into place, keep rolling. So I decided to try a sport tire here because the guy in front of me was not quite as fast as I was thinking he was going to be, even though he's running a semi-slick tire. So I went down to the sports, which made me fall off a little bit at the beginning. But then as you can see, once I flicked it in and got to angle, he really foot braked a lot in these zones. And the sport tires really helped me to maintain a smooth drift without straightening out, because I was, having to handbrake, or the RPMs were getting too low because I was trying to chase him down, and he's foot braking really hard in the zones and stuff like that. So the sport tire ended up working out really well for me. I had a little contact with him there, and then I don't know what he was doing in the lead. I'm going to show you his chase run on me too. I did end up winning this particular tandem part, and moved on to the top 8. So as you can see, a pretty decent score there, but we have our 4th or 5th. This is the 5th and final attempt to chase him down, see what we can do. And so this is the one where now that I've got a score on the board, I just send it, balls in. You're going all the way. You're just trying to get up on his door, stay consistent, be smooth, and get up there. But unfortunately, I was struggling at the beginning of this track with the sport tires because I was falling behind him, and I was trying to keep that distance, to make sure that I didn't run into him, that I kept my score up as high as possible, since we're not dealing with multipliers or anything like that in the XDS. That's more of the other tandem competition that does the scoring like that. You just want consistency, just straight up consistency. So you can see I kind of dove in on him at the last second there. but it wasn't, you know, anything impressive. I wasn't putting up some crazy chase down scores or anything like that. And I've noticed that's kind of my struggle in the XDS tandems, is that I don't tend to do very well in the chase position because I'm so nervous about running into them. Whereas you can see here, this is his chase on me, which I found interesting because he actually switched cars for what he was chasing with, which I always kind of forget that you can do if you're, you know, chasing down a car that's way faster than you or is way slower and you need just a different setup. You can actually switch cars in the chase position to something else to hopefully give you a better opportunity to chase them down, which I don't personally think should really be allowed. I think that once you enter the competition in a car, that's your car. I don't think that you should get a chance to change that up and, you know, go to a totally different setup. I mean, can you imagine if Formula Drift allowed that? And you could just like have a crazy fast car to lead, and then when you're chasing people, you can just switch up to your secondary car and do something else. So anyways, thought that was interesting, but now we're jumping up to the top 8 battle that I had with Sultan here, and he is a very, very talented driver. You can see here I'm switching up to the semi-slicks because I saw that that's what he was running on his S15 there. And attempt number 1, you never really know what to expect unless you've watched their qualifying run. So you have to kind of just keep an eye when he breaks out to the left like that. And I swear to God, I've lost to this guy many times in a bunch of different competitions or tournaments, and maybe it's because of our rankings together or something that were put up high. But as you can see, I was pushing a little too far forward there to his inside of the corner there and needed to back off, so I handbraked, but it really threw me far behind him. So at this point, again, this is run 1 of 5, so I'm kind of learning where he's going in each zone, how fast he's going, or where he's handbraking really hard, or if he's foot braking. I can see that he slowed up a little bit here and then transitions and like takes off. As you can see, he pulled a huge gap on me after that transition. So just things to mentally note for when you come back for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and even the 5th round, to know that, you know, he speeds up here, so I need to do this. Obviously, I needed to replace my semi-slick tire, get a fresh set on there so that I could keep up with him. That was kind of why he was pulling away from me at the end of the last, or the first run, I should say. So here's run number 2. We're gonna flick it in. I'm on heavy 4th gear, trying to get up to him a little more without being too aggressive. Again, I want to put up a really good score without running into him and causing a collision, which will end my run. Poor transition in that zone there, cut it way inside here to try to catch up, and I'm just pinned on 5th gear trying to get out to him. He is really, really fast through this massive outside zone, so that was something that I had to kind of think about moving forward, trying to get almost to the inside of that corner on him a little bit so I can maintain that proximity and keep a really good angle and speed. So the second run was just okay, nothing great. Run number 3 here. And as you can see, a little more aggressive on run number 3, come in and bump into his door a bit, which was really good. It was enough, but not so much that it caused the race to end. Clicked at the right time in transition there, and again here, trying to get a little bit closer to the door. And he kind of lost me a little bit coming out of this corner. He was really fast, like I said, going to this outside zone. So even I'm in 6th gear with the throttle pinned, and I can't catch up to him. And obviously that's a tuning related thing that differed between our vehicles, and that's why he was able to pull away there. But I tried to close the door here at the end of that zone. And that was one of my better chase runs for sure. So then we'll jump over to the 4th run and even the 5th run, and then you'll see I'll back out. I'll show you the scores where we're at. We'll show you his chase run as well behind me here after the 4th and 5th attempt. And we'll show you the victor. But if you guys have any other questions about the XDS Tandems, please let me know in the comments below. I'm trying to kind of explain most of the rules. As you can see in run 4, I just ran right into him trying to be too aggressive. but they're definitely the more, I'll say, formula drift style scoring than what the other tandems are. Because of the collisions, because of the angle, speed, and everything. You're not just trying to get points and multipliers. And this one, they actually limited the angle you can have at the end of the track as well in the recent update, so that you can't just angle out and get the most points possible. It's really nice that they did that, actually. So here you can see the fifth run, trying to get aggressive, trying to get on them, but again, just not quite. I just didn't have the speed in the car that I needed to stay on his door through these big zones. Went a little too aggressive there, bumped into him. Not enough contact again to cause a collision, but enough to mess me up in my chase. So at this point, obviously I've ran all 5 of the chase positions here. I went back to the menu and saw that he had beat me out by 13 points, and I thought, what the heck, for the followers I'll spend 2 gold, try to do one more and just be as aggressive as possible, see if we can put up that 100-point chase run to move on to the top 4. So that's what this run is here. This was full send, just trying to do everything I can to catch up to him. On the door on entry, maintaining that, positioning, trying to transition almost a little bit before him so that I could get on his door on the flip side of the transition. And then I went a little wide here where I wish I would have narrowed it in and cut it off so that I could make that, transition to that outside zone again where he was just running away from me the whole time. And there was just nothing I could do in that position to get back. Again, I hit his front, his rear bumper with my front bumper on that transition, coming out of the big outside zone. So unfortunately, even with the aggression on the final run, I did not move on to the top 4. But I hope this helps, give you guys some direction on how to go about the XDS Tandems. We're going to watch him chase me down, and it just further proves that he very well outdrove my skills here. He flicks it in right on my door, just consistently right with me. And I think it's because his car was slightly faster than mine that he was able to keep that kind of proximity, whereas I was always trying to play catch up a little bit and falling behind. So this is going to be the final run though for the video today. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for future content. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, that's going to do it. Put your life in drive. We'll see you next time.